3,000 screaming teenagers are at New York's Kennedy Airport to greet, you guessed it, the Beatles. This rock and roll group has taken over as the kingpins of musical appreciation among the younger element. Some music critics call their harmony unmistakably diatonic. Others say it's pandiatomic. Parents say it's just plain pandemonium. Their first meeting with the American press brings forth an interview laced with quips and humor. You'd laugh, too, with a gross of $17 million last year. New York City cops are hard-pressed.
61 years ago today, on this date, 1964, the Beatles arrived at New York's Kennedy Airport, and that was just ahead of their first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show.
When your mom and dad and granddad and everybody were looking at this and saying, oh, look at the hair of these people. They're just so long, my goodness.
Yes.
Today, they would be very conservative by comparison, I would think, in terms of their look. Anyway, welcome back. 7:35 here on the Gary Sutton Show on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK AM. You can also listen at 989WOYK.com. And don't forget to go to the Gary Sutton Show right now on Facebook. The Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. A couple of questions there for you today. And what is the best thing you like about the new Gary Sutton Show on WOYK? And what do you not like? Don't say Mark or my name. We're sensitive. We get hurt very easily. Yes, Mark's over there right now cringing, cowering in the corner, as it were. And then our second question is a fun question of the day. What do you most watch the Super Bowl for each year? That might be a question we could ask Cade Pribula this morning, former quarterback at University of Delaware, now an entrepreneur, a budding NFL agent. And he joins us here for Friday Morning Quarterback on the Gary Sutton Show. Cade, how are you this morning?
Morning, Gary. I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well. Great to have you in. So when you watch the Super Bowl, like coming up on Sunday with Kansas City and the Eagles, what do you watch for? I mean, you were a quarterback on a big-time level playing in college. So what do you look for? Do you look for the game, or do you look for other stuff there as you watch the game?
Oh, the Super Bowl is just a big event. Obviously has a lot more going on than just football.
Right.
I always hope to see a good game, but I understand that there's more to it than just the game. You know, I'm a huge college football fan, and I love NFL. The NFL slate, a full, 14, 16 games on a Sunday. Not a huge Super Bowl fan in general. I don't look forward to it like some other people do.
What is it about the Super Bowl? It's kind of a turnoff for you.
I guess it's just the 2 weeks that you take. College basketball is heating up,
right?
And the predictability that kind of comes with it. You're just kind of sick of it at that point. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, but it's a huge event. There's a long commercials, long halftime. It starts late. I got Monday's the next day. There's just something about it that isn't that intriguing.
Do you think? I hear a lot of people say from time to time Monday ought to be a holiday. That the day after, because you're recovering, a lot of people physically and alcoholically are recovering from the too much partying that day. What do you think about that? Should Monday be a national holiday?
Yeah, or probably be a lot easier to make the game on Saturday. I know Super Bowl Sunday rhymes, but Super Bowl Saturday would rhyme too. And I don't think anyone would be upset if they moved it to Saturday either. And moved it up a little bit. Like the Rose Bowl is great because it starts at 5:00 East Coast.
Right.
Like this game's, I don't know exactly what time it's going to start, but it's going to end at 11:30.
Right.
Just because of how long it's going to be. And, if it's not a close game, what's the point of sticking around and staying up?
Oh, watch the rest of the commercials again, right? Come on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of fun there. Hey, one of the big stories, I guess I want to ask you a little bit, as you take a look at the Super Bowl, any thoughts on a preview, any things that are going to be turning points from your particular vantage point as you view the Super Bowl this coming Sunday?
I like to think about what are the storylines going to be after either of the teams win.
Okay.
So, if the Chiefs win, what's the storyline going to be?
It's going to be 3 in a row, first time ever.
Right. And
how many times they showed Taylor Swift on a look up to the stands, right?
Right. Yeah, and I think the Tom Brady and Mahomes comparisons are going to really start to come out. And really, there's going to be a lot of people diving into that. And the Chiefs-Patriots dynasty comparisons will come out. And then, on the other hand, if the Eagles win, what do you think? I want to ask you, what do you think the storyline is going to be if the Eagles win?
If the Eagles win, let me see. I don't know, Saquon Barkley, the comeback this year and how well he did, or I don't know. Beyond that, I'm not that deep on it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough to be unbiased when you live in Eagles country because you hear so much chatter year round. It's tough to have like a bird's eye view on it. But I think you're right. I think it's the Saquon Barkley and just the team building that the GM has done. I talked about it a little bit last week. They really, I think, if I had to predict, I think the Eagles will win. I think they could win something close to double digits, and I think it'll just be because they have a better roster. They have by far the best roster in the NFL.
It's funny you mentioned that. Dennis Owens was on the other day from ABC 27 News, and he said he thinks the Eagles are going to win 31-17, double digits, and he sees that. I don't know. I mean, I just like the Chiefs, just seem to find a way to win. Andy Reid always has a game plan that's pretty good. You got Mahomes, you got Taylor Swift, you got Kelsey. I mean, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. I think that's what they have on the back of his uniform now. It's not even Kelsey anymore. It just says Taylor Swift's boyfriend. I don't know. But, no, I think they just seem to find a way to come up with a game plan that fits the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure the NFL would like the game to last into the fourth quarter so that those, the viewership is still high when those high money commercials are coming in. So I'm sure they'll figure out a way to make it close. But
finally, the big look at this Super Bowl is going to be Tom Brady as the commentator. How good is he? I mean, you look at a lot of games and you watch commentators. Do you have a favorite commentator that comes in and analyzes the game? What are your thoughts?
Tom Brady, he definitely struggled early this year.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year, I do like listening to him now. I know that he has a lot more knowledge than what he shares because he has a more generic. He's pitching to more of a generic audience, I bet, especially on a Super Bowl Sunday. But I do like Tom Brady. And I know we've talked about this before, but one of my favorites is Gus Johnson. I know you don't like him, so. But I like Gus Johnson. He's probably my go-to. Yeah,
Gus Johnson just has way too much enthusiasm. He's a guy that you get up in the morning and he's standing next to your bed. He's being Gus Johnson. You slap him. I mean, that's what I don't. I just one of those guys. Hey, last night you get Josh Allen getting the MVP over Lamar Jackson, and I said it's simply a matter that they beat the Ravens in the game, and Jackson hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. But Jackson had a better year than Johnson whatever his name is, Allen had. You can see how much I care about him. What were your thoughts about that MVP thing last night?
I don't think they could make the right pick because they're both so good.
Okay.
I definitely don't like looking at the stats as the final judgment call.
Right.
And I do think the fact that Josh Allen was able to beat them had something to do with it, and the fact that I don't know if has Josh Allen been awarded with an MVP before?
Never.
I don't know
it was his first,
yeah.
And so I think there was that pity thing where you give him his first, and so everybody's happy now, and I guess.
Yeah, that probably had something to do with it as well.
Share a little bit. It was going to be the third for Lamar Jackson. He just won last year, so he's had his share. So, and then the country where everybody gets the medal. Here you go, Josh Allen, line up. You got yours here, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that had a little bit to do with it. But to be fair to Josh Allen, he was a play away from beating the Chiefs, and
right.
He had an outstanding season, as Lamar Jackson did, but he had an outstanding season and fully deserving of the MVP.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, now the other one, this week, we saw President Trump sign another executive order saying that men trying to be women can no longer compete in women's sports. It went back to the idea of Title IX, that women play in women's sports, men play in men's sports. And last night, the NCAA came out and said, me too. We're not going to do it either. We're going along with the president. What are your thoughts about this idea? I mean, you've been in sports in high school, up through college and all that. The idea of men switching over and playing in women's sports, I don't know. I've got a thought about that as a coach. I wonder about your thoughts of it as a player.
Yeah, I don't think it would affect men's sports. It really affects women's sports.
Yeah.
If I had a daughter, I wouldn't, who worked hard in her childhood to be a high school girls basketball player, and then a few men switched over to play girls basketball and were taking shots and taking playing time, I'd be a little frustrated. So that's kind of, I have never been exposed to it. I've never actually seen it on TV or live, so I've never, witnessed it. But I'm sure that's how I'd feel if I did see it, and I'm not unhappy with what the changes that have come since Trump's been elected.
I look at this and I say, this idea of men being a so-so athlete over here, and then all of a sudden they declare a different gender, and they come over and they break a new record, or they hurt somebody. The president was talking about that the other day. They had some people up there that had examples of that. The idea that they're swimming at University of Penn like the girl was last year after being a so-so swimmer as a man, and then she's breaking NCAA records. That doesn't sit well with me. Just to declare you're different and then say, I feel like this, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to take part in it, that doesn't sit well with me at all. I wonder how you felt about that.
Yeah, I'd say that kind of stuff should stay out of sports. I think, there's an easy way to identify whether someone's biologically a male or a female, right. And you should have to play, regardless of how you choose to view yourself, the outside world can find out whether or not you're a biological female or male, and you should have to play your sport within which one you are.
Listen, on the other side, where do we put people then who declare that? Do we have a special category that they're going to take part in and all that? That becomes kind of a tricky business as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that could definitely become a tricky business. And I think the easiest way to go about it is just what were they born as, and
right.
Regardless of how they view themselves or how they would like to be treated, they should play in the sport or in the gender role that they were born into.
Yeah, Donald Trump said it's male, it's female, and that's kind of where a lot of these organizations like the NCAA are going right now. So there we have it, at least for the moment. Simple answer, right? No problems at all. Nothing else to be said about it. I don't think so. But we'll continue to have that debate. Cade, always good having you on a Friday morning. Thank you so much, my friend. And you have a pick. You said maybe 2 touchdowns here on the weekend for the Eagles?
Yes, and I don't even think I'm being biased. I just think the Eagles are the better team. So I picked them to win by like 8 or 9 points.
Mark, he sounds very authoritative, doesn't he? I mean, I really think he's...
Now, I know Cade can't hear me, but the most impressive stat I think that I've seen...
Right.
Guess the weight... Ask Cade. Guess the weight of the Eagles' offensive line.
Okay, guess the weight of the Eagles' offensive line, Cade. Do you know what it is? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do we still have you there, Cade?
Yeah. He's there.
Yeah, the average weight or the total weight?
No, the total weight of the Eagles' offensive line.
I'd say 1,330 pounds.
1,700.
1,700 is the answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
More than most of the people who live in Philadelphia combined. No, we're kidding. We're kidding. Anyway, Cade, great having you here on a Friday morning. Thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week, all right?
Thank you, Gary. Always good talking to you on these Fridays.
You too, Cade. Thanks so much. The Friday morning quarterback, Cade Pribula. Yes, his brother is Bo Pribula, if anybody's asking that.